You're listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. I'm your host, Erin Thomas Wong, business mentor, author, and founder of the Cocoon VIP membership, empowering women around the world to build businesses on their terms. If you want to grow and scale a business that works in harmony with your family and your life, this podcast is for you. Welcome back to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. We are on episode 49, which will be the penultimate episode before we end season 3. So I really hope that you have been enjoying this podcast, and I would love to hear from you. If you have, please do reach out on social media. I'm at Life Friendly Biz, or you can drop me an email at erin@lifefriendlybusiness. I would love to hear from you and hear what's been resonating for you, what's given you light bulb moments, and what's helped reassure you that you are on the right path with your life friendly business. Today, I am talking about community and connection. And these are two words that are really important to me because it's absolutely what drives me in what I do. Because I think in today's world, it's so important that we feel part of something bigger than ourselves. I really think that in the current climate that we are living in, that we need to be feeling part of something bigger than ourselves. We need to have that connection with other human beings. And when we do, it makes us feel stronger. It makes us more resilient. It makes us feel supported. And therefore, we often feel happier. And when we are happier, that's when we achieve more. So creating and being part of community and having that connection really has a ripple effect, because if I can help other women feel that connection and that makes them happier and that helps them to achieve more, it's going to help them make a positive impact in their lives, with their kids, with their clients, and the ripple effect goes on. And this is absolutely why I created Life Friendly Business in the first place, because for the last 14 years, I've been running small businesses. And when I lived in London, my second business was co-founding Ealing Mums in Business Network, which were in-person events in West London for women who were building businesses around family life. And I absolutely learnt the value and the importance of having those in-person meetups and creating those opportunities for people to connect and discuss what their challenges were and to recognise that they weren't alone with that. And it was a few years later that my husband and I had the opportunity to go and live in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East. And by this point, I was running 3 businesses. I'd just sold my franchise of small print fingerprint jewellery. We were still running Ealing Mums in Business, and also I had been running Pitter Patter, the hub for Bubs, which were venues for baby and toddler classes in West London. So as you can see, all the businesses, wove into each other really, really nicely. But my husband got headhunted for this job in Abu Dhabi, and, we made that decision that it would be crazy not to try it. So we moved out there with our 2 kids in tow. And honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it was one of the hardest things that we'd ever done. And I think especially for me, because I had actively built up a community around myself. I'd helped instigate and create this community of people like me that I had friendships with and connections with. And then to be out in a place like Abu Dhabi back then, I'm sure it's changed now, but there was no thing as a mum in business, there weren't. I think there was one women in business event that I went to when I was out there. And that's when I realized there's a real gap here for the people that can't access in-person community events for women in business. And so that's why I decided to create my community as an online community. Now, right now, it feels like we're a bit inundated with online communities, especially with the pandemic. Everyone went online. But back then, it was more, not rare. It wasn't rare by any means, but there weren't as many online communities as there are today. So that was my whole selling point, really, that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can access this online community of women like you who are building businesses, but also have other priorities in their lives. And after a year of running Life Friendly Business, which was back then, it launched as Making Mumpreneurs, I realized that I wanted to create something more. I wanted to help people, more deeply with their businesses rather than just running like a Facebook group and having blog posts and things like that. So that's when I created the Cocoon Business Membership. And the whole idea of that is to give these women access to the training and the experts and the support that they need to build and grow their businesses and have a safe space to talk openly about the challenges and to get support with that. I really love the whole idea of team. Together, everyone achieves more. And I know that it's true. I've seen with my own eyes that when you are in a community, whether it's online or offline, and you see other people achieving things, you see other people overcome barriers and obstacles, it helps push you forward as well. It's the whole idea of like everyone rising together. And, there's no more proof needed that online communities work than that moment when I created my first in-person event. It's called the Momentum Day, and I hold them in Bournemouth in the UK by the sea once a year. In the past, I have held them in London as well, but I will never, ever forget that first event. So I think I'm on event 7 this year, but that first event that I held when these women were arriving to that room and no one, pretty much, there was a few people that had, but pretty much no one had met each other in real life. They had purely known each other through the online community, through the Cocoon membership that I had been running. And to see the genuine friendships, these were genuine, authentic friendships. And, they felt like they knew each other, and the feeling of sisterhood in the room and the camaraderie was just absolutely tangible. And I really think that proves to me that it is possible to build these relationships online. I mean, it's not easy to do. Like now you can be part of so many Facebook groups, for example, and they're just faceless. And it is really hard. Speaking as a Facebook group owner myself, I'm getting more and more frustrated with the algorithms. And I'm afraid that I am coming to the point where I think I am going to close my free Facebook group because literally my posts are being shown to like 14 people out of 3,500. And you cannot build community when no one gets to see your post. So there are other ways that I'm going to work around doing that. But the point is that, it does take something special to create a community. It's not easy. But it's something that if you're not doing yet in your business, and if it would actually be quite good and a good fit for what you do, it's definitely something to think about. How can you create that community and the connection between your customers or clients? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love in-person events. I've always enjoyed being around people. I mean, I do find hosting the Momentum Day very physically and emotionally draining because I'm kind of holding that space for 50 people. And, as the main organizer, it's like it all falls on me. So it does take a lot of energy to do that. And also with in-person events, obviously we can be scuppered by COVID. Now we've got teacher strikes, train strikes. There are all these things. And that's where, online makes things so much easier. But I think it's really nice to have a mix in your business if you can. So what I would say to you now is I really am picking up that people are really in need of connection now. We're coming out of the pandemic. People are getting out more. They're getting more confident about attending events. So have a think about whether there's something that you can do in your business to create that opportunity for your people to come together. Because if you get your people in a room, I can guarantee that it will open up the opportunity for them to have conversations about the work that they're doing with you, about the things that they've bought from you, all those things. And it really helps build your brand. At the last Momentum Day, I decided quite late on that I was going to have a panel of some of the women that I was working with at that time from the Evolve Mastermind. And I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out. I kind of thought, oh, we'll just do 15 minutes and I'll just ask them, you know, how the mastermind's been going for them, what they found useful. And I cannot tell you how powerful that was. And hearing them speak, we literally could have listened to them for an hour because everyone was so engaged with what they were saying. And it was really powerful hearing from their words and their stories. It was 100 times more powerful than me putting out a sales post saying, come and join Evolve Mastermind. And I had people coming up to me saying, I know that I need to do Evolve and I'm going to come back to you at this point. And other people saying, I'm ready to do it now. I want to sign up. It was so powerful. So allowing those opportunities is going to be really beneficial to your business as well. But I also want you to think about yourself. As a business owner, it's incredibly easy to get really isolated when you work on your own and, you know, maybe you quite enjoy working on your own. You enjoy working at home and that's great. But are you feeling that sense of connection? You might be getting that sense of connection from other areas in your life. And, you know, as you know, at Life Friendly Business, this is all about taking that holistic approach and recognizing that you as a person have lots of different elements going on. But, you know, I do know that for so many women that like loneliness when you're running a business or loneliness when you're a mum, especially with young children, is really, really hard. And so have a think about whether you've got enough community in your life. And if you don't, you know, what could you do to actively go out there and start being part of a community? But also perhaps what could you do to create a community? You know, perhaps you know other people around you who are a bit lonely or feeling a bit isolated. You know, what could you do to get them together and just have a coffee, or just even if it's a very informal arrangement? But I really think that, you know, having that connection with another human being is so good for the soul, and especially when you create the space to be able to talk openly and honestly, because that's what this is all about. Like, I'm going to be real with you because I don't think it helps to have this kind of Instagram image of, oh, I'm earning seven figures and I just sit on the beach all day and drink cocktails and I've got a nanny looking after the kids. It's just not relatable. It's, you know, I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you probably think like me in that sense, that it's just like, that's actually not what we're about. And, you know, we need to keep it real and we need to be honest about the challenges that we're facing, because it's only when you are a little bit vulnerable that you're going to get the support back that you need. So community and connection, so important to me, so important. I mean, in terms of how I measure my success, being able to see that I am making a difference and that I am creating that community space for people and that I am giving opportunities for them to connect with each other. You know, we have it all the time in the Cocoon where people are collaborating with each other on networking calls when they're sharing what's going on for them and other people are jumping on and helping. When I do the Evolve Mastermind, it's a really small, intimate group working together for 12 weeks and seeing the bonds that we have with each other during that time. You know, we get to know each other's businesses. We also get to see the repeating behaviors and patterns that might be happening. And we can hold a mirror up and say, oh, what do you think about this? Do you think that maybe you could think about it a different way or approach it a different way? And that's what really, really helps us all make progress in our business, when we can get to know each other and give useful advice and feedback to each other. And that's what helps us grow, both as people and as business owners. I hope that's given you some food for thought. As always, I would love you to reach out and let me know. So next week will be the final episode of season 3, and I'm going to be talking about simplifying. This is something that is really, really resonating with me at the moment. I'll explain why in the podcast episode. But as part of that simplification, I'm not sure when I will start season 4. So I would say, if you would like to reach out and contact me, if you want to find out about working with me, or if you just want to be in my world, please do find me on social media, DM me at LifeFriendlyBiz, or go to the website lifefriendlybusiness.com, sign up for the free newsletter, and you'll be able to keep in touch with what's happening. And there are some big changes coming. I'm going to be doing something new and exciting, and I'm creating that headspace for myself right now to be able to process all this and think it through clearly. So yeah, I'll explain a bit more next week on the podcast, and we're going to be talking about simplification. But for today, I hope you found that useful, and I hope it's inspired you to go out there and create community and connection with your audience. Thank you for listening to the Life Friendly Business Podcast. If you'd like to make your business more life friendly, we have everything you need in the Cocoon VIP membership. The Cocoon is a fully online training and membership program that's available to you 24/7 via your laptop, tablet or smartphone. You'll have access to our extensive training library to build the skills you need to thrive, experts on hand for when you get stuck, and the sisterhood and support you need to put the wind in your sails. Join us now at lifefriendlybusiness.com/cocoon.